when I look at this place and I see the opportunities, especially here in Olongapo City, and I feel this place in many ways is similar to Guam. My great-grandfather, Hamas, migration to Guam preceded two very large waves of Philippine migration into our island. Filipino skilled workers answered a call after World War II to rebuild Guam from the devastation of imperial occupation by the forces of Japan. And this was no small feat. The center of our commerce for the island was a village called Subic. It was the home also of our marine base, in which case you know what happens with that when it was obliterated during the war. Well, hundreds of families had to be moved from that village and be relocated in other areas. And with that, Filipinos helped to build those new communities adjacent to Subic, including places such as Santa Rita and Piti. Several of the construction workers stayed on Guam and married Camaritas and had families. And they made the villages of Santa Rita, Agate, and Piti as their home. And I want to acknowledge Mayor Calvo of Agate, as long as Santa Rita Mayor Del Alvarez and Mayor Ben Gumutauta. They will attest to the hundreds if not thousands of Filipinos that live and contribute to their communities. What's very special is they contribute every day to the progress and beauty of Guam. And unlike other biracial or multiracial communities throughout the world, everybody pretty much gets along and shares in both the diversity and the uniqueness of our culture. There were many other projects in rebuilding Guam. Filipinos helped lay the water and wastewater systems we have today. The system of roads we now travel on began after the war. Philippines and Filipinos helped the most powerful navy in the world to reestablish its presence on Guam. And it was the start of a now 64-year-old uninterrupted relationship between Guam and the U.S. military. Filipinos again answered the call to help our Romanians, not 20 years later, following Super Typhoon Calvo. Guam's rapid growth included an addition of water distribution and electricity systems. Telephone poles were sprouting up. New stores were littered at the rebuilt capital of Pagapnya. And the once small village of Denido was becoming now the most populated. Well, Super Typhoon Calvo blew all that progress, and it was the Filipino construction workers that came to Guam to change that landscape to the modern Guam that we see today. This was the beginning of the concrete structures, and I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, most of those structures that were built have the highest building codes in the United States. We had an earthquake, and I'll give you an example. Several years ago, we had an earthquake at 8.3 in the Richter scale. One of the most devastating earthquakes in terms of strength to hit the world. We had one fatality, and it was a heart attack. And it is a testament to the type of work that was done on our buildings. And these were concrete with a lot of reinforcement on it. But it wasn't just the material, but it was a physical, our labor, and expertise of the Filipino workers that again built these structures that have been able to take super typhoons and earthquakes. The Navy and the Air Force have needed stronger buildings as well as the civilian community. And the Filipinos led the build-up of the island through the destruction of the worst storms in our history. And afterward, many of these workers stayed and settled in Denido, Tumuni, and Jigo. These villages today are Guam's largest and busiest cities, with Filipinos from all walks of life calling it home and contributing greatly to the future of our island. Denido Mayor Melissa Tavares is here with us. Melissa, are you here? Melissa wasn't able to make it. She, again, is in the village of Denido. That population now is around 50,000. after the buildup, that village will get probably around close to 80,000 people, including the military marine base that will be built in that area. Mayor Robert Lizon and Mayor Frank Blas, both of Jigo and Tumuni, they now live in the heart and soul of Guam's commerce. There were two buildups of Guam over the past 7 decades. Filipinos have been a major part of each one of them. Our island now is in the advent of a buildup of the magnitude we have never seen before. And unlike the previous buildups, we go into this one knowing that billions of dollars will be invested over a protracted period. Unlike the last two buildups, we don't look to the Philippines merely for the supply of skilled workers. Friends, we are here in Olongapo City because we've done something right. As a former host to the largest U.S. military installation in the region at that time, we have something to learn from you. Olongapo is a shining example of economic and financial independence as Guam moves towards its own sustainable prosperity. I want to learn, and a lot of us folks, like Senator Barnes and policymakers, want to learn from you folks here. Now, Olongapo City relied on the U.S. military as its primary driver, but because of circumstances, did not sit back and accept its fate. You guys did not. The leaders and people of this community had a vision for your people that supplanted the temptation of being complacent and accepting things. There was an underlying pride in the people of Olongapo that your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations were much bigger than the naval base and the activity abroad. You saw a bustling free port, beautiful streets and structures, and a city teeming with vibrant life. And years ago, you envisioned a great city well beyond the military. Today, Olongapo is that proverbial, and since I am a Republican and I love Ronald Reagan, that city upon the hill, a beacon for light for all our people looking towards pursuing their dreams as well. The mayors and vice mayors of Guam are here today can tell you about our domain dreams. And these are the visionary leaders. These folks are mayors. They're the ones that touch the grassroots of our island. They, together with me and Senator Barnes, envision a Guam far outlasting the impending military buildup. We don't want to peg all our hopes on someone else's buildup. We see the bright streets and the abundant resources and the billion-dollar industries and high-paying careers in Guam's future. We see green villages and playgrounds with gymnasiums, schools, parks, health centers, and cultural gathering places. Many doubted Olongapo's dreams when the U.S. military left this place. They said the city might be doomed and its plans were maybe too lofty at best. But I admire you. You didn't listen to the cynics. Your commitment to your vision for your people inspires myself and others further to bring this dream also to our people in Guam. The billions of dollars in contracts for this military buildup in Guam will be a great opportunity, which I invite you to invest in and to be a part of. And it's not only Olongapo City, but it's our brothers and sisters in the Northern Marianas, Micronesia, Hawaii, the whole Pacific.